D2 Word Life here with the old country bumpkin goddamn Riptidz, aka Billy Bob himself.
Go fuck yourself.
And today we are reviewing the 1998 Unforgiven event, which was tagged Unforgiven in Your House. And it took place on November 26, 1998 in Greensboro, North Carolina at the Greensboro Coliseum complex with an attendance of 21,427, which was a record back then for that arena.
Yep.
And the commentators for this event was Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler.
Yep.
And I actually enjoyed the opening video hype package hyping the Undertaker and Kane's match at the start. They don't do opening packages like that these days.
Nope.
It's like, for once, I would like to see him do a callback to an important event like that or an important match like that in the modern day.
They stopped doing that during after 2001.
It's like, yeah, if they did something like that today, that'd probably get the people talking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hyping the one match, the one like big match they want to advertise as opposed to the whole event itself. But this event was essentially a one match show, and we'll get to that match in a minute, which I believe the match in question should have main evented the show, but back in '98 nothing goes over a Steve Austin main event type match anyway. Regardless of the era, regardless of what, other matches are on the card.
Yeah.
So anyway, we get to our first match, which was a 6-man tag team match. It was the Nation of Domination, which was the Intercontinental Champion, The Rock, D'Lo Brown, and Mark Henry, with Kama Mustafa at ringside. Not quite the Godfather, but soon enough after this, he would be known as the Godfather.
He was already dressing like the Godfather, so after this event, he just done the Godfather Mustafa thing.
The Godfather gimmick. I think he had the Godfather gimmick shortly after this because he was dressed like his Godfather character, just still going by the Kama Mustafa name.
Yeah.
And they were taking on the Lethal Weapon, Steve Blackman, Farouk, the former leader of the Nation, and Ken Shamrock.
Yep.
In their opening contest. Now, I got like a bunch of spots here jotted down. I'm not going to go through every single spot here, but the match started off with a shoulder block from Brown to Blackman feeling each other out, which Blackman returned the shoulder block to D'Lo, followed by an overhead kick attempt, blocked into a snap suplex from Brown to Blackman here. Yeah, and then there was a drop kick, followed by an arm bar to Blackman from D'Lo itself. Then Shamrock got the tag in, hit a leg lock he took down Brown with a leg lock takedown, resulting in Brown getting to the ropes. Right?
Yeah.
Then Farouk
because he's going for a submission.
Yeah, but Brown got to the ropes beforehand. Then shortly afterwards, Farouk got the tag and he started whipping Brown with a leather strap he had on him.
Well, no, he started beating the shit out of him, and then he, when the referee was distracted, he took the whip out, the fucking belt out, and just started beating him down with that.
Yep. Of course, Mark Henry then got the tag, and Farouk tagged Blackman back in the match shortly afterwards. Henry got the tag in for his team, and Henry showed off his strength by nailing 2 backbreakers and an elbow drop on Blackman, trying to make freaking Henry a legit freaking strong threat back then.
Yep.
And of course, Brown got the tag back in, actually hit a crossbody on Blackman for 2 count.
Yep.
And then Brown hit the Sky High onto Blackman. It wasn't quite called the Sky High, but we know what move that really was. That also got him a 2 count.
Yep.
Yeah, then Farouk got the tag in and freaking planted Brown down with a face buster, plus stomped on him when he was down. Then The Rock got the tag in and he actually hit a clothesline on Farouk for a little bit, and then shortly afterwards, Henry got the tag in, hit a body slam, and 3 impressive elbows to Farouk for a 2 count. How'd Farouk kick out of that? I don't know. Yeah, and then Blackman got the tag, tried to mount an offense, but Henry freaking overpowered him with a power slam. Then D'Lo Brown got the tag in, and he freaking proceeded to chop Blackman in the corner, followed by Blackman reversing Brown with chops of his own. It was like a back and forth, like, chopping match in the corner.
Yeah.
You know that spot? Irish whip, and then Blackman tried to attempt an Irish whip into the corner on Brown, but Brown reversed it with a back elbow. Yeah, and then back in the corner. Yeah, then Blackman was in the corner. This is when the triple team happened. You know, the heels getting the advantage, triple teaming. Rock got tag in and hit stomps in the corner to Blackman. Doing all that, and then freaking Henry got the tag and hit Blackman with a double elbow just for the Rock to tag back in and get a 2 count. And of course, Blackman surprised everybody by reversing Rock's offense or next move with an inside cradle for a 2 count. A lot of 2 counts here.
Yeah, the whole match was 2 count, 2 count, 2 count.
But once again, despite that, The Rock went back into control. Blackman was down, and he would actually hit an elbow drop, which later on would actually become the People's Elbow. Right? And then instead of going for the cover like he would usually do these days, The Rock then put a devastating, deadly chin lock on Blackman. But we all know Blackman's reputation. That chin lock didn't faze him at all.
Yep.
So Blackman managed to get out of it, only to be met with a back elbow from The Rock afterwards.
Yep.
Yeah, and then freaking Brown, or D'Lo got the tag in, or Brown, or whatever you want to call him. Got the tag in, and he went for a moonsault from the rope, but Blackman blocked by getting out of the way. So Brown ate nothing but canvas.
Yep.
And then Blackman was able to make the hot tag to Farouk, and then Farouk proceeded to freaking clean house, attacking everyone, prompting all 6 men to get in there and start fighting each other.
Yep.
But then Rock came in after getting the tag. He stopped freaking Farouk's momentum by hitting a DDT on him for a 2 count. But then Farouk battled back and actually hit Rock with a Dominator to get the 3 count and the win.
Yep.
So the winners of the match were Shamrock, Blackman, and Farouk. Now, what's your thoughts on this opening 6-man tag?
It was good. It was interesting.
I thought it was a good way to open up this pay-per-view. It wasn't the best match on the card, but it was a good way to open it up, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And of course, this was all to keep the rivalry between Farouk and The Rock going at this point.
Yep.
I mean, those two would face off against each other for the Intercontinental Championship at the following month's pay-per-view, which was Over the Edge 98.
Yep.
So yeah, Farouk got a little bit of revenge here by pinning The Rock, the man who kicked him out of the nation to begin with, in this match.
Yep.
After that match, Steve Austin actually came out to the ring and accused the timekeeper for ringing the bell on purpose during a match that Blackman had on the Raw prior. And pretty much he threatened the timekeeper, saying if Vince McMahon screws him, he'll beat down both McMahon and the timekeeper all over the arena.
Yep.
Because a big story for the main event they were building is, will Vince McMahon screw Steve Austin like he screwed Bret Hart at Survivor Series?
Yep.
Yeah. Then we head over to our next match, which was for the European Championship, which saw Triple H with Chyna defend the European Championship against Owen Hart. No, before we even get to the match, I don't know if you noticed this, but I noticed this. During Triple H and Chyna's entrance there, the hard camera actually zoomed in on a sign in the crowd that said Playboy needs Chyna.
Yeah.
Which to me was ironic foreshadowing, considering Chyna would be in Playboy in the year 2000, like 2 years after this. As we know. And during the match, Chyna was locked and suspended in the shark cage at ringside. Why does that sound familiar recently, by the way?
Goes to the pay-per-view.
Exactly. Because, yeah, at time of recording, we just recently seen Dominic Mysterio be the one locked in the shark cage and then used as a piñata.
Yep.
So yeah, that just means 26 years later after this event, we're still using the shark cage stipulation. Of course, Chyna was locked and suspended in the shark cage after Owen made his entrance. And while that was going on, when she was fully locked in there, Owen attacked Hunter on the outside by smashing him into the rail and the shark cage, followed by a suplex on the concrete floor. And then back in the ring, Hunter got clotheslined over the top rope to the outside by Owen. Owen then smashed Hunter face first or head first into the Spanish announce table, followed by a backbreaker back in the ring. And then a little shortly after that, Owen had Hunter up in the corner and delivered chops to Hunter in the corner, right? And I'm like, yeah, those chops still look devastating. I wouldn't want to get hit by any of that. That's why I always make notes about chops in the corner. Especially if Big Show chopped you. Jesus Christ, his hands were massive. Am I right? Yeah, and then freaking shortly after that, in one of the other corners, opposite corner, Owen freaking started doing the 10 punches in the corner spot, but Hunter blocked it when he dumped Owen face first into the turnbuckle, thus halting Owen's momentum.
Yep.
And then Hunter, or Triple H, whatever you want to call him, was able to hit his high knee onto Owen. And while Owen was down on the corner, shortly after that, Hunter freaking hit Owen with a bunch of kicks in the corner. And shortly after that, Hunter was able to suplex Owen, followed by a knee drop for a count of 2.
Yep.
And while this was going down, at the same time, Chyna was trying to bend the steel bars of the shark cage that the camera made sure to get a shot of. But it's like, okay, how's he going to get out? Because, being suspended in the shark cage, they're going to do some shenanigans to get out.
Yeah.
And back in the ring, Hunter was able to lock in a Dragon Sleeper submission hold, the first time he actually did that in a match, according to the announcers or the commentators.
Yeah.
And while applying the submission hold, he was able to get Owen down for a couple of 2 counts. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, and then after Owen was able to get out of the hold, freaking Hunter actually threw Owen chest first into the turnbuckle. Like, he hard Irish whipped him in the turnbuckle, landed chest first.
Yep.
And while this was going down, they showed China again trying to use a file to saw the bars of the shark cage, but ended up dropping the file all on the floor.
Yep.
So I'm like, well, she's still stuck in the cage. It's like, now what? Right?
Yep.
Yep. And meanwhile, back in the ring, Owen was able to hit a sunset flip to Hunter for a 2 count. But then Hunter did battle back and actually hit a swinging neck breaker on Owen for a count of 2. And then Hunter applied yet another dragon sleeper to Owen. Following that, it's just pretty much just a game of wear down the opponent while China freaking gets out of the cage. That's pretty much what they were playing here.
Yep.
And of course, Owen managed to fight back and was able to deliver a couple shoulder tackles into Hunter in the corner once again, and then tries to go for some kind of running attack on Hunter, which Hunter moves out of the way, and Owen hit the ring post shoulder first. Yeah, and then after throwing Owen chest first into the turnbuckle again, Hunter hit Owen with a face buster for a 2 count, followed by yet another dragon sleeper for a couple of 2 counts.
Yep.
So yeah, pretty much at this point it was just a wear down game between the two. Trying to get the advantage, right? Or maintain the advantage, I'd say. But then Owen did manage to fight out of the dragon sleeper again, and actually was able to hit a German suplex to Hunter for a 2 count. And meanwhile, after this, both men are down. After this, China was able to bend the bars of the shark cage. And then she went to just go dangle herself from the shark cage, right?
Yeah.
And while this was going down, Owen was able to hit an enziguri kick to Hunter for a 2 count.
Yeah.
And then Owen once again was able to hit the spinning heel kick to Triple H as well for another 2 count.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Owen, still on offense, hit a pile driver on Hunter, followed by an elbow drop. And of course, China was at this point managed to get out of the cage. He was just hanging there. At the same time, Triple H was going for some kind of attack, but then found himself dangling between the bottom and second rope, while China's just dangling from the shark cage looking at him. So yeah, they were both hanging. That's pretty much what the joke was.
Yeah.
And then after Hunter was freed from the ropes, Owen hit him with a DDT, followed by the sharpshooter submission hold. And you would think at this point, freaking Triple H would just tap out, Owen would win. No, that's not the case. It was at this point, freaking Owen noticed freaking China was hanging there, and Road Dogg actually lowered the shark cage to allow China to drop off of it without injuring herself. They didn't show Road Dogg immediately doing this. The cage just started going down, and Jim Ross was like, who the heck's lowering the cage? And as soon as China dropped, that camera picked up Road Dogg leaving with a operator area.
Yep.
So leaving people to speculate that Road Dogg was the one who lowered the cage. Yeah, and then China distracted Owen long enough. And then which led to her getting escorted out by officials, or at least attempted to get escorted out by other officials. And then this distracted Owen long enough for Hunter to attack from behind and actually attempt to hit a pedigree on Owen, but Owen reversed into a slingshot into the turnbuckles. Then Owen himself actually was able to hit Triple H's own finishing maneuver, the pedigree, on Hunter for a visual pinfall.
Yep.
Like, he was literally picking there. Even the crowd was counting 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
But in the middle of all that, X-Pac interfered when the referees was distracted due to the China being at ringside. Out of the cage, X-Pac interfered and actually hit Owen on the back of the head with a fire extinguisher, enabling Hunter to climb on top of Owen for a 3 count.
Yep.
winner and still European champion Triple H. And of course, we got to talk about what happened after the match. After the match, Owen Hart was interviewed, and he actually cut a promo saying, "Enough of enough, and this bullshit's got to stop. Enough is enough."
Yep.
So yeah, it was after this match that Owen Hart first used the phrase "enough is enough," which would become synonymous for Owen going forward from this point.
Yep.
So your thoughts on this European title match?
It was okay until all the fucking interference.
Yeah. I mean, it was to be expected. I mean, I thought it was okay. I mean, it is infamous because of Owen's little promo at the end, though, so there you go. Considering after this, Owen would actually join the Nation and actually wear that "Enough is Enough" T-shirt. That would become like his slogan, one of his slogans. At that point, right? So I guess for historical value, yes, this match is historic for that moment after the match, but the match itself, leading up to it, was all right, but it could have been better. But I'm just saying it's all right. It's not a bad match by any means. And the storytelling I thought the storytelling of how China was going to get out of the cage, I thought was done well. In my opinion. So yeah, there's that.
Yep.
Yeah, speaking of Road Dogg, we'll be talking about his match a little later on. But the next tag team match we're talking about is not that one. It's a tag team match for the NWA World Tag Team Championships. And in this match, your favorite team, the Midnight Express, or should we say the new Midnight Express, which is Bombastic Bob and Bodacious Bart.
No, they were your favorite tag team.
Oh yeah, by the way, I'm not calling them Bombastic Bob and Bodacious Bart during this whole dang review of their match. I'm just going to call them Bob and Bart.
You have to do it.
No, I'm just going to call them Bob and Bart, or Bob Holly and Bart Gunn. That's what their real names really were.
Yes, but they were called Bombastic Bob and Bodacious Bart.
That's your favorite tag team. And of course, they were managed by Jim Cornette, and to this day, Jim Cornette says that team was not a Midnight Express team. Still denies it to this day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they were taking on the Rock and Roll Express, which was Morton and Gibson. Who thought an NWA tag team title match on a WWE pay-per-view was a good idea back then? Just saying. But it's not totally bad. It had some of its entertaining spots, but we'll get to that in a minute. Match started off with a headlock from Gibson to Bob, followed by a takedown, sending Bob to the outside of the ring. Shortly after that, there was a double team by Gibson and Morton to Bob and Bart, so pretty much all four men were going at it, with the Rock and Roll Express getting the advantage there.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, and then there was a double team attempt by Bob and Bart countered when both Gibson and Morton threw Bob into Bart. That whole spot where the opposing team sends the other two team members, sends their opponents crash into each other.
Yeah.
And after this, there was a little dissension between Bob and Bart, just yelling at each other, but nothing really came of it, and they continued the match.
Yep.
And there was an abdominal stretch applied from Bart to Morton, and Bob was giving Bart the unfair leverage by holding on to him until the ref, holding on to his hand in the corner until the ref caught it. Until referee Tim White caught it, right? And it was at this point Jim Cornette got in the ring, looked like he's ready to fight himself. And I'm like, huh? The manager's going at it here? And while this was going on, referee Tim White freaking goddamn untucks his dang shirt. And he went to go punch Cornette, only for Cornette to back down like a coward and go back outside the ring.
Yep.
And afterwards, referee Tim White actually raises freaking the Rock and Roll Express's hand, saying, "You do that again, I'm disqualifying you guys." Right? Which I found pretty funny, to be honest. Yeah, and then shortly afterwards, Bart hit a backbreaker on Morton for a 2 count. Yeah, and then when Morton was trying to get some offense back, Bart actually hit him with a drop toe hold, followed by an elbow drop from Bob to Morton for a 2 count after Bart got the tag.
Yep.
Bart or Bark, I don't give a shit what you call him. Yeah, and then Bart was able to power slam Morton for a 2 count following that. Followed by, and then Bart was able to hit another power slam, followed by a leg drop. Followed by a leg drop from Bob off the top rope to Morton, only for Morton to move out of the way. There was a double team gone wrong here. And the way I just fumbled over my words is a fucking butch. Alright. But hey, at least I can acknowledge when I can't talk for shit today. Yeah, then Gibson and Morton hit double punches in the corners to Bart and Bob respectively. I thought that was a good moment. And then Gibson and Morton were able to hit a double drop kick to Bart. And they go for a pinfall, and then Gibson goes for a pinfall, only for Jim Cornette to go in the ring and try to break up the pinfall while the referee was distracted. Only for Gibson to move out of the way, causing Cornette to drop an elbow on Bart himself. And I'm like, what the hell? I was like, there's more freaking in-ring action from Jim Cornette in this match than any other event we reviewed with him in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Gibson tried to hit a roll-up on Bart, only for Bob to stop the pinfall attempt with a bulldog to Gibson. And Bart pinned Gibson for a 3 count following that. Winners and still NWA Tag Champions, the new Midnight Express, your boys.
No.
Bodacious Bob and Bombastic Bart.
They were your boys.
Your thoughts on this tag match? I had a little bit of comedy thanks to Cornette.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought Jim Cornette going in the ring and acting like he was going to fight the referee, I thought that was funny. Along with him accidentally hitting his own teammate. But, other than that, it just felt like your average run-of-the-mill tag match. There's really nothing special to it.
Yep.
Yeah, and then afterwards we go backstage where Luna cut a promo, pretty much saying she will destroy Sable and strip her of her clothes and dignity. Oh my god, this match sucked.
It's your favorite match of the night, isn't it?
To be honest, I think I'd rather watch a Michael Cole match.
Uh-huh.
Take that with it as you will. But the next match, if you even want to call it that, was that evening gown match between Sable and Luna, who was accompanied by the artist formerly known as Goldust.
Yep.
Let's just put it like this. Before I review this match, or what if you even want to call it a match, keep note, this was 1998 we're reviewing. I surely greatly appreciate where women's wrestling has gone in the modern era compared to this shit we're about to talk about. The match started with Sable ripping the sleeves off of Luna's evening gown. And then Luna was able to actually hit a couple of wrestling moves when she freaking hit Sable with shoulder tackles in the corner. But that was about the only one of the few wrestling moves I was actually able to, pick up in this match, because shortly afterwards, Luna freaking removed Sable's, bottom of her evening gown, or the dress part, whatever you want to call it. And I'm like, okay, that's when I thought to myself, why am I even reviewing this? Yeah, then Sable then had... Yeah, and then freaking, while Sable was in the corner, Luna charged at Sable in the corner, only for Sable to reverse Luna by kicking her in the face twice.
Yeah.
And after this, Sable was able to take Luna down with a football style takedown, which resulted in a cat fight, like it usually does.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then with Luna propped up in the corner, Sable was able to kick Luna in the corner, looking like she had the advantage, only for Mark Merrow to come out to distract Sable. Because, this is when their rivalry was first, starting to go down. And with Sable distracted, Luna was able to rip Sable's top off, winning the match.
Even though he said that he wouldn't go into the match at all.
So the winner of this match was Luna, and then afterwards, Sable hit Luna with a Sable Bomb. And after she hit that move, after she hit a Sable Bomb on Luna, she proceeded to rip Luna's nightgown off anyway.
Yep.
But Sable wasn't done. After that, she and Luna actually go underneath the ring, with Sable attacking Luna under the ring. And then after a couple moments, Sable reappeared from under the ring, carrying both Luna's bra and panties.
Yep.
Implying that Luna was naked under the ring.
She was naked underneath the ring.
So your thoughts on this match, if you want to call it that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it just wasn't for me. I'm just so glad that we don't have to deal with matches like that in the modern era.
Yeah.
So yeah, this match did nothing for me, because I'm thinking to myself, if I wanted to see that kind of stuff, I would go on other websites to see that stuff. Not wrestling. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So yeah, Luna was a winner, but in the long run, it doesn't matter. I don't care about this. Right?
Yep.
Then after that was all said and done, we go to the next segment, which was Mr. McMahon, a controversial figure in 2024. He came out with Pat Patterson and Gerald Briscoe, and McMahon cut a promo talking about the allegations of him screwing Steve Austin out of the championship, and he said he would not be held responsible for what happened to the main event if Stone Cold screws Stone Cold.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much the simple version of the promo he was cutting. Yeah, and then backstage, Sable was conducting an interview on the Superstar line. Just like I said, you're old if you remember that.
Yeah.
And like we said the last time we talked about Superstar line back then, it's kind of like how the wrestlers talk on social media nowadays. With, their videos and their thoughts on everything and stuff like that.
Yep.
And promoting the next event. And then we go to our next championship match of the night, which was for the WWE Tag Team Championships, or back then WWF Tag Team Championships. I'm just used to calling them WWE, so it's the same company, so just bear with me. And it was the New Age Outlaws, which was Billy Gunn and Road Dogg defending against the LOD 2000, which was Hawk and Animal with Sonny.
Yep.
Yeah, and before the match even started, the Outlaws made their entrance, and Billy Gunn came out and said, Yeah. And said, yeah, we got to, it's like, for this match, we got coached for this match from the best freaking basketball coach there is, Dean Smith, which was really just a blow-up doll carried by Road Dogg.
My Billy Gunn.
Well, both of them had the blow-up doll at one point. And I'm like, oh, God, why? And all I can think about is like, God damn it, Riptidz, why is your blow-up doll making an appearance here?
No, it was yours.
Yeah, no, it was yours. So after the entrances were done for both teams, start of the match, shoulder tackle from Animal to Billy, followed by Billy giving Animal right hands, trying to build some offense. But that was kind of thwarted when Animal hit Billy with a hard clothesline for a 2 count. Yeah, then shortly after that, the Outlaws tried to do a double team on Animal, which resulted in Animal planting both their faces into the mat.
Right? Yeah.
Then Hawk hit a power slam on Road Dogg. And then afterwards, freaking Hawk hit a shoulder tackle and a fist drop to Road Dogg as well. Poor Road Dogg here getting his ass beat. Yeah, and then Billy got the tag in, and then shortly afterwards, Hawk got the tag in, and then Hawk was going for some kind of like offensive move, only to get back body drop from Billy. Yeah, but then Hawk battled back and actually hit Billy with a shoulder block. But then then Hawk actually managed to hit a shoulder breaker on Billy for a couple of 2 counts. Yeah, and then freaking LOD with a double team move when both of them hit an elbow drop with a double elbow onto Billy.
Yep.
Yeah, and then freaking shortly after that, Animal actually locked Billy in a side headlock.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Animal was able to hit a huge power slam on Billy, and then Animal went for the pin, which Road Dogg broke up. And the big story.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and then freaking afterwards, we seen another crisscross spot where freaking Hawk and Animal threw the Outlaws into each other, just like in the previous tag match we talked about.
Yep.
And a devastation device attempt, which is the LOD's finisher. They attempted that, but that move was stopped after Road Dogg hit Animal in the leg, thus knocking him down, while Hawk was up on the top rope. And that's how the Outlaws got back in control, because shortly after this, Road Dogg was working on Animal's knee, trying to weaken that body part. Yep. It's like if Animal's knee's out, he can't lift one of them to do their finisher, which is smart strategy in a situation like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Billy was able to hit a slingshot to Animal on the outside. And then Billy then Billy wrapped Animal's leg around the ring post twice, sending Animal to the outside. Once again. Yeah, continuing to work on the leg or work on the knee specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah, then back in the ring after getting the tag, Road Dogg continued to work on Animal's knee with a leg lock. There's not a whole lot of action when you see like someone getting their body part worked on, but it's good strategy in the long run, injuring that body part even more. Yeah, and then shortly afterwards, Billy got the tag and continues to work on Animal's injured body part, trying to weaken him more. In 2K terms, he was trying to make the leg from like orange to red. Pretty much is what we're talking about. Right?
Yeah.
Billy then hit a famouser to Animal for a 2 count. Of course, back then it wasn't called the famouser, but it would be later on. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, and then when Animal was like on all fours trying to get back up, Road Dogg got the tag and actually nailed a hard kick to Animal's ribs. Followed by Road Dogg jumping on Animal's back, which Animal was propped up into the ropes for that move, and then and then Road Dogg went for the cover for a 2 count. Animal kicked out. Then Billy Gunn came back in and actually hit a pile driver, or tried to hit a pile driver, only for Animal to reverse it into a back body drop, which meant that there was a chance for Animal to get the hot tag, which he did to Hawk. And then Hawk proceeded to hit the Outlaws with clotheslines and right hands, the big hot tag comeback spot. Yeah, then Hawk managed to hit a big splash on the top rope. Or on the top rope to Road Dogg. Then Billy hit Hawk in the back of the head with one of the tag team championship belts while the referee was distracted. That resulted in a 2 count for Road Dogg, who went for the pin. Right? Yeah, and then Road Dogg attempted to hit Hawk with the championship belt as well, only for Hawk to move out of the way. So Road Dogg ended up hitting Billy with the championship belt instead. Another miscommunication spot.
Yep.
And here is the controversial ending. Hawk was able to hit a German suplex on Road Dogg with the bridge pin. The referee counts 3. Everyone thought that the Legion of Doom won the tag team championships here. But no, the referee awarded the match to the Outlaws, considering Hawk's shoulders were down as well, and he only counted Hawk's shoulders down. And of course, not happy about this, after the match, LOD hit the devastation device on the referee.
Yep.
Your thoughts on this match, including the confusing ending, and yeah, the winners of this match and still champions and New Age Outlaws here.
It was a good match, just shitty ending.
Yeah, that ending was freaking controversial. Why was the referee only paying attention to the Hawk shoulders? Road Dogg shoulders were down the whole time. And yeah, they showed replays of it on several angles, determining that factor.
Yeah.
Ugh. But to me, it's like, besides the controversial ending, I think the match was alright. Was okay or good for what it was. I mean, the crowd was really into it, and if the crowd is into it, then that's what sells the match as a good match.
Yep.
But then after the tag team matchup, we go to what is considered your favorite part of the Unforgiven show, and that was Jeff Jarrett's little mini concert.
Nope, it was your favorite, bitch. Don't even fucking try to put that shit on me.
We all know you dare love that country music, don't you, Billy Bob Scroggins?
No.
Oh, I bet you do.
No.
But then anyway, Jeff Jarrett, there was a big concert stage set up there with, instruments and everything you'd see in a concert. On a concert stage, Jeff Jarrett and Sawyer Brown sang Some Girls Do, which was alright. I mean, I'm not the biggest country music fan, but it was alright. I heard worse, trust me. The Butter Barn springs to mind when I said I heard worse.
Uh-huh.
And of course, after the song was done and over with, Steve Blackman came out to attack Jarrett. Because, at the time, Steve Blackman and Jeff Jarrett had the rivalry going. And right in the middle of the attack, Tennessee Lee, Jeff Jarrett's manager, nailed Blackman in the back of the head with the guitar. In the segment, Jeff Jarrett locked a figure 4 leg lock on Blackman.
Yep.
And then he and Tennessee Lee went to the back after Jeff Jarrett let go of the hold. So yeah, that was pretty much it. Nothing special. I'm not going to rate this segment. It wasn't really a match. It was just a concert followed by an assault or an attack.
It was shit, and you know it.
Yeah, well, it's not. Well, this ain't going to affect my overall grade or score. But you know what will affect my overall grade and my score is the next match we're about to talk about. And that's Kane with Paul Bearer taking on The Undertaker in the first ever Inferno match. Now this is the match why you wanted me to review this. And I actually agree. And I actually wanted to review this one too, so this is the match that I was talking about. It's a one-match show. The match that was hyped in the opening video package. And we'll just see how good it was. And of course, after The Undertaker and Kane made their entrances and were both in the ring was then surrounded by fire. You know, through the pyrotechnics setting, right? Around that was like on the ring apron. On the ring aprons, yeah. Creating a great visual of like fire around the ring. Which seeing The Undertaker and Kane standing there in a ring that's surrounded by fire is a great visual to see, not gonna lie. It's like they're fighting in hell. The only thing we're missing is the Butterbarn song.
Go fuck yourself with that song.
You know I had to say it. Anyway, the match started with lefts. The match started with Taker hitting a bunch of rights to Kane that had very little effect. And then Taker was able to hit an old school on Kane shortly afterwards, causing the flames to shoot up everywhere in another great visual. Yeah, but then Kane was able to mount some offense back when he dropped Taker face first onto the turnbuckle. And you can't really get really good creative spots from an Inferno match with fire everywhere. Right? So that's why I'm just going by this, what I've seen. It's like, then Kane then whipped Taker in the corner, followed by a clothesline on Taker in the corner. I think. Yeah, and then shortly afterwards, Kane tried to lower Taker into the flame in the corner, which Taker reverses with kicks to Kane. Oh yeah, by the way, the only way to win an Inferno match is set your opponent on fire. Right?
Yep.
And there's only been like a handful of them, and for a good reason. Yeah, and then Kane then whips Taker down to the mat, causing the flames to shoot up once again. But then Taker was able to reverse Kane's momentum by shoving his finger into Kane's good eye. Only for Kane to battle back with a power slam to Taker, which sent the flames shooting up all above the ring ropes uncontrollably once again.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure this whole time Paul Bearer and everyone at ringside was sweating. I couldn't imagine being those two in the ring. Especially, I couldn't imagine being the future mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee, all wearing that almost full body outfit with the mask on in that hot ass ring. And you and I don't even like going outside when it's 100 degrees. Imagine wrestling in a ring surrounded by fire.
Yeah.
Of course, from the outside, Paul Bearer handed Kane threw in a steel chair to Kane in the ring, which then allowed Kane to strike Taker in the head with the chair. So yeah, Kane hit a headshot and Taker with a chair, seeing the flames to go up uncontrollably again. Then afterwards, Kane tossed the chair back outside the ring. That way Taker can't get the chair and use it later in the ring. Yeah, then shortly afterwards, Kane rammed Taker's head into the turnbuckle. And then Kane freaking struck Taker with a bunch of right hands and a kick to the ribs. And while The Undertaker was down, Kane tried to shove Taker into the fire, which Taker reversed with punches back on Kane, trying to stop Kane's momentum into the match. Right? And while Taker was up in the corner, Kane went for a splash in the corner, but Taker reversed it with a big boot, followed by Taker hitting a side Russian leg sweep to Kane, seeing those flames shooting up once again. All right. I mean, visual-wise, this match is good, okay? And then Taker then hit a leg drop on Kane, which Kane no-sold as he sat right back up.
Yep.
I'm not making any jokes, by the way.
Uh-huh.
And of course, once Kane sat back up, the Undertaker did grab Kane by the throat in the to try to set up for a choke slam, but Kane did the same thing. And he managed to freaking get the Undertaker's hand off of him, and then Kane ended up hitting the choke slam on Taker that sent the flame shooting up everywhere in another visual.
Yep.
And then after that, Kane attempted to go for a tombstone, which Taker reversed into a choke slam, but Kane sat right back up afterwards. You know, signifying that both these two had equal powers, or pretty much are the one and the same here.
Yep.
And then afterwards, both men knocked each other down with big boots to each other. So yeah, both of them were down. And for some reason, the commentators even freaking speculated about this, talked about this on commentary. So I put, Paul is on the outside sweating gravy. That's a little joke they were saying. All right. And then the Undertaker went for a clothesline on Kane, only for Kane to duck almost, and the Undertaker almost sent himself into the flames. And I'm just like, yeah, I bet that spot was scary. The Undertaker had to stop himself just in time before freaking getting lit.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a scary spot. And then Kane ended up hitting a sidewalk slam to Taker, which at this point, Kane decided to head up to the top rope, which I guess at this point Kane was attempting to do like his signature flying clothesline from the top rope, which the Undertaker reversed.
Into a choke slam.
Yep, actually no, he didn't reverse into a choke slam. He did reverse Kane's momentum by having Kane land crotch first on the top turnbuckle. And then the Undertaker then climbed up the turnbuckle himself and actually hit a suplex on Kane back into the ring. Which caused, and the greatest visual of this match, that's with the flames shooting up after that match. Or after that move. Right?
Yeah.
And of course, despite being superplexed off the top rope, Kane was actually the first one to his feet, only to get knocked down just moments later by Taker with a clothesline. And then freaking Taker then proceeds to yeet Kane over the top rope onto the outside of the ring. But Kane didn't touch the fire. He just went sailing over the top rope and hit the floor.
Yep.
And then the Undertaker tried to get out of the ring, but then he realized, wait a minute, there's no way I can get out now, and there's no way for Kane to get back in with his fire going. Right?
Yeah.
And Paul Bearer even went to the pyrotechnic guy and tried to tell him, stop the flames, so Kane could get back in the ring, but that was to no avail. So instead of trying to get back in the ring, Kane decides, fuck this. Alright, I'm a head out. Right? So Kane tried to walk away from the match. And at this point, Taker realized he's screwed. He can't even get out of the ring anyway to stop Kane, even if he wanted to. Right? But then despite that, with Kane's back towards the entranceway, Vader came out and attacked Kane from behind, thus reigniting their rivalry. And while both men were fighting, and both of them went back to ringside, and that's when the Undertaker got the bright idea, I'm going to hit a suicide dive onto both Kane and Taker, or onto both Vader and Kane to just get out of the ring.
Yep.
So yeah, Undertaker hit the suicide dive over the top rope to the outside of both men with his, signature dive that he does. And while that's happening, Paul hits, and when Taker gets back up, Paul managed to sneak up on The Undertaker just like he did during the Burial Alive review that we did last week. But instead of hitting The Undertaker in the back with the urn, Paul Bearer actually hit Taker in the back this time with a steel chair. And just like in last week's review, Taker just looked at him and no-sold it like you on 2K.
I knew that was coming, bitch.
I had to say it within the same spot that I said it in last week. When I seen it again. Of course, Taker at that point picked up the chair. Paul Bearer was running at this point. Dropped the chair. Taker actually picked up the chair and hit Kane in the head with it and the back with it, knocking Kane down. But instead of just letting Paul run away like a coward, Taker decides now would be the perfect time for me to extract revenge on Paul. Right? So he stalks Paul Bearer, who went up to the staging area where your favorite mini concert took place. And Taker proceeded to beat down Paul by hitting Paul in the head with a drum. Following that, Taker ended up choking out Paul with a microphone stand. And because Paul got hit in the head with a drum, that busted Paul Bearer wide open a little bit.
Yep.
And back at ringside, when Taker got back to ringside, Kane tried to attack him with a steel chair, only for Taker to reverse it by hitting Kane with a big boot, making Kane stumble backwards, and Kane put his arm in the flames. And then Kane realized, oh shit, my arm's on fire, and then he starts running to the back, thus ending the match. And Undertaker being declared the winner. Your thoughts on this match? The first ever Inferno match.
It was brutal.
It was more of a visual spectacle, that's for dang sure. Yeah, and I heard stories about this too recently on Undertaker's podcast that, yeah, when they were training to do this, they told him, oh yeah, you got to put this special stuff on, and you can't be doing this, you can't be doing that, you can't touch your face when you're on fire or anything. And according to what I heard the rehearsal, they said, oh yeah, this takes about maybe a couple months to master. And Glenn looks at him and goes, we're going to be doing this in a couple hours. I got to learn how to do it all right now. Just so he doesn't severely burn himself. You know what I mean? So yeah, when Paul was getting attacked by Taker, that gave Glenn Jacobs or Kane enough time to put that fire retardant stuff all over his arm for the finish. Right? So there you go. And I think he was also wearing a fire protectant sleeve too, by the way, under his attire. The whole match as well. Just so he didn't badly injure and burn himself. I'm only saying this because Kane or Glenn Jacobs previously talked about it on the podcast. Letting the world know the secret of how that was done. But either way, I thought it was a good match. Not the greatest match, but it was a good match. It was the match of the night on this show. And visual-wise, it was epic. So, there you go. That's my thoughts on it. But, despite all the carnage we've already seen, we got one more match to go. And that is the main event, which we're about to talk about next. And that was Stone Cold Steve Austin defending the WWE Championship against Dude Love. Or better known as Mick Foley or Mankind or Cactus Jack, whatever you want to call him, it's the same guy. Anyway. Anyway, this match started with... It's like Dude Love made his entrance, and Austin made his entrance, and as soon as he handed the referee the championship, freaking Love attacked him from behind, or Foley attacked him from behind. I'm not going to keep calling him Love, even though that was his character, by the way.
Yeah.
So Foley attacked Austin from behind to start the match, followed by Austin giving Foley a bunch of punches in the corner, fighting back. Austin then hit his Luthez press on Foley, followed by a knee drop. Yeah, and then freaking Austin then rammed the back of Foley's head into the ring mat, knocking him down once again. And then Austin hit the back of Foley's head with his knee to the rope. Knee in the ropes, right? You know that little like jump knee move he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then those two fight to make their way to the outside, where Austin rammed freaking Foley into the guardrail. Yeah, and then freaking Austin did hit a clothesline onto freaking Love on the entranceway. Or Foley on the entranceway. I don't care. I'm calling him Foley. I don't care what his persona was. That's what I'm going to call him here. Because how awkward does this sound? Austin body slams Love off the stage. Like he has a hatred for Love or something. But Austin body slammed freaking Foley on the stage. And afterwards, Austin tossed freaking Foley off the stage onto the concrete floor. In a spot that looked like hurt like a bitch. Right? How would you like to be tossed on nothing but a concrete floor from a high spot like a stage area? I don't think I would want that, would you? It's like, yeah, and then they make their way back to ringside, and the whole time freaking Austin is just kicking Foley back to the ring. Then Foley Irish whipped freaking, and then Foley Irish whipped Austin into the ring apron, which Austin no-sold, followed by a clothesline to Foley. So you have any input here on this main event? Yeah, and then and then Austin dropped Foley onto the guardrail. And then Austin went for another running knee to the back of Foley's head, only for the ropes, only for Foley to move out of the way. And then Foley Irish ripped Austin into the corner, followed by a bulldog. An elbow drop and then Foley hit Austin with an elbow drop. And Foley didn't kick Austin in the corner, followed by a choke in the corner, yep. Okay, if you're talking, I can't even hear you. Yeah, and then a clothesline by Austin to Foley Irish rip. Clothesline by Austin to Foley Irish rip attempted by Austin, reversed into Love, hitting Austin with his stomach, with his knee. Yeah, then Foley was able to hit a sleeper hold. On Austin with his legs wrapped around Austin's body. You okay over there, by the way? Yeah, then McMahon, Patterson, and Briscoe made their way to ringside. Austin fights out of the body scissors by Foley and kicks Foley in the stomach. Then Foley freaking rolled up Austin, who was distracted by McMahon at ringside for a 2 count. I'm trying to make this as brief as I can. Then Austin nailed a clothesline to freaking Foley here, and then Austin wrapped Foley's knee around the ring post 4 times, inflicting more damage. Then Austin hit punches and kicks to Foley into the ropes, sending Foley to the outside. And then Austin was going for a pile driver, which Foley reversed by back body dropping him onto the concrete floor. Yeah, and then Foley then rams Austin into the guardrail, and then Austin goes. But then Austin battled back, but then Austin decided to go after McMahon on the outside, only to be attacked from behind by Foley here. And then Foley hit Austin with a neck breaker from the top, on the top rope. Afterwards, both men blocked each other's suplex attempt. Are you alright over that, by the way? And then Foley was able to get the abdominal stretch on Austin. And while this was going on, McMahon tried to signal the timekeeper to ring the bell. But when Austin reversed the abdominal stretch and locked it in on Foley, McMahon waved off, saying, "Nope, don't do that." Anyway, long story short, after some back and forth and suplexes from both men and back and forth, Austin did attempt to hit a stunner, but it was countered by Foley into the mandible claw, which Austin got out of, and then Foley tied Austin's knee, putting Austin down, then reapplying the mandible claw once again. Yeah, and then back on the outside of the ring, freaking Foley hit a back body drop on Austin to the outside. Yeah, and then Austin got a chair. Foley and then pushed the chair into Austin's face, or Austin's head. But then while McMahon was attending to Foley on the outside, Austin hit McMahon in the head with the steel chair. The referee was down during all this too. Austin hit a stunner on Foley back in the ring. Then Austin made the 3 count himself since, the referee was down, declaring himself the winner. That ended in controversy too, because Austin was then announced as being disqualified for striking McMahon with a chair. The winner of this match by disqualification was Dude Love, and Austin was still the champion. If you're cooperating with me, what's your thoughts on this match? Okay, it seems to me like he's still busy. Anyway, time to go to my match rating system. The opening 6-man tag match, I give 3 out of 5. That was a good way to kick off the show.
Yep.
What rating would you give the 6-man tag?
3.5.
Yep. Oh yeah, and I noticed you were being silent for most of the main event discussion. That's why I just kind of rushed over and just gave the important parts.
You are doing it justice.
Yep. Triple H defeating Owen Hart with Chyna up in the shark cage to retain the European title. I give that one 3.5 out of 5.
2.5.
Your boys, the new Midnight Express, defeating the Rock and Roll Express to retain the NWA Tag Team Championships. I give that 2.5 out of 5.
I say 3.
You enjoyed it a little bit more than I did. It's like Luna defeating Sable in that evening gown match. 0 out of 5.
One of your favorite matches of the night.
So what would you give that evening gown rating?
half a star.
Give it half. I give it 0. The New Age Outlaws defeating the Legion of Doom 2000 to retain the tag team championships with that controversial ending. I give it 3 out of 5.
I give it 2.5 because it was shit.
The Undertaker defeating Kane in the first ever Inferno match. 5 out of 5. The best match of the night.
100 out of 100.
100 out of 100 for you. In the main event, with Dude Love defeating WWE Champion Stone Cold Steve Austin by disqualification. The DQ finish ruined it for me, but either way, I give it 4 out of 5.
4.5.
So my final grade for Unforgiven 98 in your house is a C. It's essentially a one-match show, which is the Inferno match. But if you want to see anything Austin related in this show, all you have to do is see his chair shot to Vince McMahon's head.
I say B.
Yep. So yeah, that's our thoughts. That's our review and thoughts on Unforgiven 98. I hope, so again, by next week, I hope you feel better by next week, Riptides. Because this week kind of sucked, because hopefully if you're feeling better by next week, the next week's review is an event of my choice, and next week, in the keeping up with the whole holiday Halloween tradition of these weird, scary matches, next week, I'm going to go a little bit further up the timeline from where we are from this event. But the year is going to remain the same. That's right. Next week, hopefully, we're going to be reviewing the 1998 Royal Rumble event that had the casket match between Taker and Michaels for the WWE Championship. Plus the Royal Rumble match itself, where the winner would face whoever the champion was at WrestleMania 14.
Yep.
So, until then, we will talk to y'all later. Peace.
Deuces.